And it fell on a day when his sons and daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house, there came a messenger unto Ayub and said, the oxen were plowing and the donkeys feeding beside them, and the Sabaeans fell upon them, and took them away. Yea, they have slain the servants with the edge of the sword, and I only am escaped alone to tell thee. Now, the word for wine, I think, might be a word that applies to any fruit juice, but while he was yet speaking, there came also another and said, the fire of divinity is fallen from heaven, and hath burned up the sheep and the servants, and consumed them, and I only am escaped alone to tell thee. While he was yet speaking, there also came another and said, the Chaldean, the Kushtim, as in they performed the Kushti, the 5 times a day prayer, made 3 bands, and fell upon the camels, and have taken them away, yea, and slain the servants with the edge of the sword, and I only am escaped alone to tell thee. While he was yet speaking, there came also another and said, thy sons and thy daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house, and behold, there came a great wind from the wilderness, and smote the 4 corners of the house, and it fell upon the young men, and they are dead. And I only am escaped alone to tell thee. Then Ayub rose and rent his mantle and shaved his head, and fell down upon the ground and worshipped and said, naked came I out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return thither. God as noun and verb gave, and God as noun and verb hath taken away. Blessed be the name of God as noun and verb. Well, that's patience. I don't know why he had to tear his clothes and shave his head, but in all this, Ayub sinned not, and nor charged God with foolishness. Again, there was a day when those considered to be sons of God came to present themselves before God as a noun and verb, and Satan came also among them to present himself before God as a noun and verb, because the jinn were considered to be children of God. And God as a noun and verb said unto Ha-Shathan, from whence comest thou? And Ha-Shathan answered God as noun and verb and said, from going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. And God as noun and verb said unto Ha-Shathan, hast thou considered my servant Ayub? For there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and an upright man, one that feareth God and escheweth evil, and he still holdeth fast his integrity. Although thou movest me against him to destroy him without cause. And Ha-Shathan answered God as noun and verb and said, skin for skin, yea, all that a man hath will he give for his life. But put forth thine hand now, and touch his bone and his flesh, and he will renounce thee to thy face. And God as noun and verb said unto Ha-Shathan, the continual scourge is what Ha-Shathan means. Behold, he is in thine hand, only to spare his life. So Ha-Shathan went forth from the presence of God as noun and verb, and smote Ayub with sore boils from the sole of his foot unto his crown. And he took him a potsherd to scrape himself withal, and he set among the ashes, and then said his wife unto him, dost thou still hold fast thine integrity? Renounce God and die. But he said unto her, thou speakest as one of the foolish women speaketh. What? Shall we receive good at the hand of God, and shall we not receive evil? And you look at her saying, it's kind of like she's urging him to commit suicide, because suicide's like giving up on hope in God, at least in terms of this life, right? In all this, did Ayub sin with his lips? I don't know if sin's the right word for say, hey, criticizing her for saying such things. Now when Ayub's 3 friends heard all this evil that was come upon him, they came every one from his own place. Eliphaz the Temanim, and Bildad the Shuhim, and Zophar the Namathim, and they made an appointment together to come bemoan him, and to comfort him. And when they lifted up their eyes afar off, and knew him not, they lifted up their voice, and wept, and they rent every one his mantle, and sprinkled dust upon their heads toward heaven. So they sat down with him upon the ground 7 days and 7 nights, and none spoke a word unto him, for he saw that his grief was very great. So the east, was he in some Persian country? Or at least Syria or something. But part 1, Ayub said, Let the day perish wherein I was born, and the night which said, There is a man-child conceived. Let that day be darkness. Let not God regard it from above, neither let the light shine upon it. Let darkness and the shadow of death claim it for their own. Let a cloud dwell upon it. Let all that maketh black the day terrify it. As for that night, let thick darkness seize upon it. Let it not rejoice among the days of the year. Let it not come into the number of the months. Lo, let that night be barren. Let no joyful voice come therein, and let them curse it that curse the day, who are ready to rouse up Leviathan. Let the stars of the twilight therefore be dark. Let it look for light, but have none. Now the Leviathan, or Lotan, was thought to be most dominant at the winter solstice. So let it look for light, but let it have none. Neither let it behold the eyelids of the morning, because it shut up the doors of my mother's womb, nor hid trouble from mine eyes. Why died I not from the womb? Why did I not give up the ghost when I came out of the belly? Why did the knees receive me? Or why the breasts that I should suck? For now should I have lain down and been quiet, I should have slept then had I been at rest with kings and counselors of the earth, which built up waste places for themselves, or with princes that had gold, who filled their houses with silver, or as a hidden, untimely birth I had not been, as infants which never saw light. There the wicked cease from troubling, and there the weary be at rest. There the prisoners are at ease together. They hear not the voice of the taxmaster. The small and great are there, and the servant is free from his master. Wherefore is light given to him that is in misery, and life unto the bitter in soul, which long for death, but it cometh not, and dig for it more than for hid treasures, which rejoice exceedingly, and are glad, and when they can find the grave. Why is light given to a man whose way is hid, and whom God hath hedged in? For my sighing cometh before I eat, and my roarings are poured out like water. For the thing which I fear cometh upon me, and that which I am afraid of cometh unto me. I am not at ease, neither am I quiet, neither have I rest, but trouble cometh. Eliphaz the Temanim said, If one essay to commune with thee, wilt thou be grieved? But who can withhold himself from speaking? Behold, thou hast instructed many, and thou hast strengthened the weak hands. Thy words have upheld him that was falling, and thou hast confirmed the feeble knees. But now It is come unto thee, and thou faintest. It toucheth thee, and thou art troubled. Is not thy fear of God thy confidence, and thy hope the integrity of thy ways? Remember, I pray thee, who ever perished, being innocent, are, where were the upright cut off, according as I have seen, they that plough iniquity and sow trouble reap the same. By the breath of God they perish, and by the blast of his anger they are consumed. The roaring of the lion and the voice of the fierce lion and the teeth of the young lions are broken. The old lion perisheth for lack of prey, and the whelps of the lioness are scattered abroad. Now a thing was secretly brought to me, and mine ear receives a whisper thereof. In thoughts from the visions of the night, when deep sleep falleth on men, fear came upon me, and trembling, which made all my bones to shake. Then a spirit passed before my face, the hair of my flesh stood up. It stood still, but I could not discern the appearance thereof. A form was before mine eyes. There was silence, and I heard a voice saying, Shall mortal man be more just than God? Shall a man be more pure than his Maker? Behold, he putteth no trust in his servants, and his angels he chargeth with folly. How much more them that dwell in houses of clay, whose foundation is in the dust, which are crushed before the moth, betwixt morning and evening they are destroyed. They perish forever without any regarding it. Is not their tent cord plucked up within them? They die, and that without wisdom. Gotta be careful with this old buff here. Call now. Is there any that will answer thee? And to which of the holy ones wilt thou turn? For vexation killeth the foolish man, and jealousy slayeth the silly one. I have seen the foolish taking root, but suddenly I cursed his habitation. His children are far from safety, and they are crushed in the gate. Neither is there any to deliver them, whose harvest the hungry eateth up, and taketh it even out of the thorns, and the snare gapeth for their substance. For affliction cometh not forth of the dust, neither doth trouble spring out of the ground, but man is born unto trouble, as the sparks fly upward. But as for me, I would seek unto God, and unto God would I commit my cause, which doth great things and unsearchable, marvelous things without number, who giveth rain upon the earth, and sendeth waters upon the fields, so that he setteth up on high those that be low, and those which mourn are exalted to safety. He frustrateth the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. He taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the froward is carried headlong. They meet with darkness in the daytime, and grope at noonday as in the night. But he saveth from the sword of their mouth, even the needy from the hand of the mighty. So the poor hath hope, and iniquity stoppeth her mouth. Behold, happy is the man whom God correcteth. Therefore despise not the chastening of the Almighty, for he maketh sore and bindeth up. He woundeth, and his hands make whole. He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles. Yea, in seven there shall be Yea, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee. In famine he shall redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword. Thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue. Neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh. At the destruction and dearth thou shalt laugh. Neither shalt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth, for thou shalt be in league with the stones of the field, and the beasts of the field shall be at peace with thee, and thou shalt know that thy tent is in peace, and thou shalt visit thy fold, and shall miss nothing. Thou shalt know also that thy seed shall be great, and thine offspring as the grass of the earth. Thou shalt come to thy grave in a full age, like as a shock of kernels cometh in its season. Lo, this we have searched it, so it is. Hear and know thou it for thy good. Abe was supposed to have said, Oh, that my vexation were but weighed, and my calamity laid in the balances together. For now it would be heavier than the sand of the seas. Therefore have my words been rash. For the arrows of the Almighty are within me, the poison whereof my spirit drinketh up. The terrors of God, of divinity, do set them. I think it's Elohim, maybe. often when they're saying God, that's what they mean. Do set themselves in array against me. Doth the wild donkey bray when he hath grass? Or loweth the ox over his fodder? Can that which hath no savour be eaten without salt? Or is there any taste in the white of an egg? My soul refuseth to touch them. They are as loathsome meat to me. Oh, that I might have my request, and that God would grant me the thing that I long for, even that it would please divinity to crush me, that he would let loose his hand and cut me off. Then should I have yet comfort. Yea, I would exult in pain that spareth not, for I have not denied the words of the Holy One. What is my strength that I should wait, and what is mine end that I should be patient? Is my strength the strength of stones, or is my flesh of brass? Is not that I have no help in me, and that effectual working is driven quite from me? To him that is ready to faint, kindness should be showed from his friend, even to him that forsaketh the fear of the Almighty. Are they saying shoulda alche? Or I'm not word Almighty. Maybe just shoulda, but shoulda means like casting out the goat demon too, which is an interesting side meaning of that, if that's what they're using. My brethren have dealt deceitfully as a brook, as the channel of brooks that pass away, which are black by reason of the ice, and wherein the snow hideth itself. What time they wax warm, they vanish. When it is hot, they are consumed out of their place. The caravans that travel by the way of them turn aside. They go up into the waste and perish. The caravans of Tamah looked. The companies of Sheba waited for them. They were ashamed because they had hoped. They came thither and were confounded. For now ye are nothing. Ye see a terror and are afraid. Did I say, give unto me? Or offer a present for me of your substance? Or deliver me from the adversary's hand? Or redeem me from the hand of the oppressors? Teach me, and I will hold my peace, and cause me to understand wherein I have erred. How forcible are the words of uprightness! But what doth your arguing reprove? Do ye imagine to reprove words, seeing that the speeches of one that is desperate are as wind? Yea, ye would cast lots upon the fatherless, make merchandise of your friend. Now therefore be pleased to look upon me, for surely I shall not lie to your face. Return, I pray you, let there be no injustice. Yea, return again, my cause is righteous. Is there injustice on my tongue? Cannot my taste discern mischievous things? Is there not a warfare to man upon earth? And are not his days like the days of a hireling? As a servant that earnestly desireth the shadow, and as a hireling that looketh for his wages, so am I made to possess months of vanity, and wearisome nights are appointed to me. When I lie down, I say, when shall I arise? But the night is long, and I am full of tossings to and fro unto the dawning of the day. My flesh is clothed with worms and clods of dust. My skin closeth up and breaketh out afresh. My days are swifter than a weaver's shuttle, and are spent without hope. Oh, remember that my life is wind. Mine eyes shall no more see good. The eye of him that seeth me shall behold me no more. Thine eyes shall be upon me, but I shall not be. So as the cloud is consumed and vanisheth away, so he that goeth down to Sheol shall come up no more. Shaul is the army of that, but he shall return no more to his house, neither shall his place know him any more. Therefore I will not refrain my mouth. I will speak not in the anguish of my spirit. I will complain in the bitterness of my soul. Am I a sea, or a sea monster, that thou settest a watch over me when I say, my bed shall comfort me? My couch shall ease my complaint. Then thou scarest me with dreams, and terrifiest me through visions, so that my soul chooseth strangling and death rather than these my bones. I loathe my life, I would not live always. Let me alone, for my days are vanity. Now, some of these words you really can't even attribute to a believer, but one of the things that you should pray is, let me or whoever live as long as it is good for them, or me, or that sort of thing. What is man, that thou shouldest magnify him, and that thou shouldest set thine heart upon him, and that thou shouldest visit him every morning, and try him every moment? How long wilt thou not look away from me, nor let me alone till I swallow down my spittle? If I have sinned, what do I unto thee, O thou watcher of men? Why hast thou set me as a mark for thee, so that I am a burden to myself? And why dost thou not pardon my transgression, and take away mine iniquity? For now shall I lie down in the dust, and thou shalt seek me diligently, but I shall not be. Bildad the Shuhim, how long wilt thou speak these things, and how long shall the words of thy mouth be like a mighty wind? Doth divinity pervert judgment, or doth the Almighty pervert justice? If thy children have sinned against him, and if he have delivered them into the hand of their transgression, if thou wouldest seek diligently unto divinity, and make thy supplication to the Almighty, if thou wert pure and upright, surely now he would awake for thee, and make the habitation of the righteous prosperous. And though thy beginning was small, yet thy latter end should greatly increase. For inquire, I pray thee, of the former age, and apply thyself to that which their fathers have searched out. For we are but of yesterday, and know nothing. Because our days upon the earth are a shadow, shall not they teach thee, and tell thee, and utter words out of their heart? Can the rush grow up without mire? Can the flag grow without water? While it is yet in its greenness, and not cut down, it withereth before any other herb. So are the paths of all that forget God, and the hope of the godless man shall perish. The one who doesn't accept the role of God in their life. Though whose confidence shall break in sunder, and whose trust is as a spider's web. He shall lean upon his house, but it shall not stand. He shall hold fast thereby, but it shall not endure. He is green before the sun, and his shoots go forth over his garden. His roots are wrapped about the heap. He beholdeth the place of stones. If he be destroyed from his place, then it shall deny him, saying, I have not seen thee. Behold, this is the joy of his way, and out of the earth shall others spring. Behold, divinity will not cast away a perfect man, neither will he uphold the evildoers. He will yet fill thy mouth with laughter, and thy lips with shouting. They that hate thee shall be clothed with shame, and the tent of the wicked shall be no more. Ayub is supposed to say, of a truth I know that it is so, but how can a man be just with God? If he be pleased to contend with him, he cannot answer him one of 1,000. He is wise in heart and mighty in strength. Who hath hardened himself against him and prospered? Which removeth the mountains, and they know it not, when he overturneth them in his anger? Which shaketh the earth out of her place, and the pillars thereof tremble, which commandeth the sun, and it riseth not, and sealeth up the stars, which alone stretcheth out the heavens, and treadeth upon the waves of the sea, which make the bearer Orion, and the Pleiades, and the chambers of the south, which doeth great things past finding out, yea, marvelous things without number. Lo, he goeth by me, and I see him not. He passeth on also, but I perceive him not. Behold, he seeth the prey. Who can hinder him? Who will say unto him, What doest thou? God will not withdraw his anger. The helpers of Rahab do stoop under him. How much less shall I answer him, and choose out my words to reason with him, whom though I were righteous, yet would I not answer. I would make supplication to mine adversary if I had called, and he had answered me. Yet would I not believe that he hearkened unto my voice? For he breaketh me with the tempest, and multiplieth my wounds without cause. He will suffer me to take my breath, but filleth me with bitterness. If we speak of the strength of the mighty, lo, he is there, and if of judgment, who will appoint me a time? Though I be righteous, mine own mouth shall condemn me. Though I be perfect, it shall prove me perverse. I am perfect, I regard not myself. I despise my life. It is all one. Therefore I say, he destroyeth the perfect and the wicked. If the scourge slay suddenly, he will mock at the trial of the innocent.